Lieutenant General Stacey Harris, Assistant Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force, Mr. John Register, Associate Director, Sport and Community Outreach, United States Olympic Committee, and our 2016 active duty Olympians, Paralympians, and coaches. Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors and the singing of our national anthem, performed by Staff Sergeant Lindsay Grebeldinger.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets went through the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, right shoulder. Oh. Hold, hold, hold.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 25th Secretary of Defense, Ash Carter.
Well, I can do all that too. Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a terrific video. And no, I can't do any of that. But what a great opportunity for all of us to celebrate as a community. Every 4 years, the country comes together, cheers together, and watches with pride as Team USA enters the Olympic opening ceremony in the Parade of Nations. American athletes dressed in red, white, and blue march behind the flag, stand with their foreign counterparts and competitors, and wave to their family and friends in the stands, and all of us here back home. But parades like that are nothing new for a few of the Olympians and Paralympians who competed in Rio this past summer. And that's because nearly 24 athletes and coaches also serve in another uniform as members of Team DoD. And while they may be accustomed to marching with a bit more military order here, these individuals bring the same dedication, hard work, and skill to their athletic endeavors that they bring to the finest fighting force the world has ever known. And for that, I couldn't be prouder or cheer louder. Secretary Fanning, General Harris, John Register from the U.S. Olympic Committee, DoD leaders, colleagues, family, and friends, thanks everyone for being here. Let's give a warm welcome to our Olympic and Paralympic athletes who join us today. Don't they look magnificent? As a community and as Team DoD, we support one another in all of our endeavors. So it's a pleasure to honor these Olympians and Paralympians for their athletic success and thank them also for what they do in uniform, athletic and military uniforms, in other words. This year in Rio, Team DoD was represented by 16 Olympians, 4 Paralympians, and 3 coaches, warrior athletes who competed from each of our services. Many of them join us here today, including Army Sergeant First Class Glenn Eller, who made his 5th Olympic appearance. First Lieutenant Cale Simmons proudly represented the Air Force as a pole vaulter. That I definitely can't do. Second Lieutenant David Higgins, who shot in the prone rifle event, will start the Marine Corps Basic School this fall. Navy Midshipman 4th Class Regine Tugade was the first Naval Academy plebe to compete. And these are just a few of the athletes we're honoring today. You saw the rest in that video a moment ago. Glenn, Cale, David, Regine, and all the other members of DOT ran, shot, coached, swam, and more in Rio. They won 4 medals. And one member of Team DoD and Team USA, Army Sergeant Elizabeth Marks, even broke a world record, winning the gold in her Paralympic debut. Let's give her and all of them another big round of applause. Team DoD also contributed a few moments that make each Olympics special. You just saw one in the video, how Second Lieutenant and pole vaulter Sam Kendricks was sprinting toward the crossbar and suddenly broke stride to stand at attention as our national anthem played elsewhere in the stadium. Great sign for everybody. There he is. With that simple act, he made us proud. And when he later won the bronze medal, he made us all cheer as well. But in doing so, Sam also reminded everyone watching that these Olympians, Paralympians, and coaches never stop being members of Team DoD. Never stop. While there's some similarities in these endeavors, Olympians and Team D both wear uniforms, and athletes and service members alike are known for training, and training some more. I know it isn't always easy for them to balance both of those commitments, and that's why I'm pleased to see so many of you benefited from the support of our initiatives in DoD, like the Army's World Class Athlete Program. And I'm glad all of you are able to make that balance work, to compete in the games and to serve in uniform for a few reasons. First, each and every one of you, is doing one of the noblest things a person can do with their life, which is to help defend our great country and make a better world for our children. Now, I know some of you are just beginning your military careers, either at a service academy or in your first or second assignment. Well, some of you have served around the world, in Iraq, Afghanistan, and elsewhere. But each of you makes our country stronger and safer every day. Thank you for doing so. And second, at a time when we have fewer Americans serving and fewer who are personally connected to those who serve on our behalf, you help us build bridges. By competing for Team USA while you serve on Team DoD, you help us connect with our fellow citizens and communities who aren't as connected as they once were to those who serve and sacrifice on their behalf. And third, as you do all of this, as you compete for gold and serve in uniform, as you protect our country and build these bridges, you inspire all of us. Look at all those who came out here today to cheer you on this beautiful day in the courtyard of the Pentagon. You inspire them, you inspire all of us to do our best, whether we're here at the Pentagon or at bases around the country or on battlefields thousands of miles away. You also make me proud, very proud. Our people, all our people, are my number one commitment as Secretary of Defense. I want you to know that I'm immensely proud of everything that all of you have accomplished and everything you will accomplish in the Olympic and Paralympic Games, in our military, and long into the future. And I'll be cheering for you and supporting you all the way. Bless you all, and congratulations.
Thank you, Secretary Carter. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Eric Fanning, Secretary of the Army and President Obama's official delegation to the closing ceremonies.
Secretary Carter, Lieutenant General Harris, athletes and guests, you heard it there. I got to go to the Olympics too, but not to compete, which was a good thing for all of us, but as a representative of the President's delegation to the closing ceremonies in Rio. When I was asked if I wanted to be a part of the delegation, I said, absolutely, who wouldn't want to go to Rio and go see the Olympics? But I didn't really know why they were asking me. And I'm embarrassed to say it was only then that I learned we had 12 Army soldiers competing. So off to Rio I went with the delegation, and I had the honor of spending time with many of the soldier Olympians here today. Americans whose devotion to excellence in competition comes second only to their commitment to defend our nation. I met Staff Sergeant John Nunn, a soldier who served in the infantry before he became a world-famous racewalker. I have no doubt that long marches with a heavy rucksack were good preparation for his 3 31-mile marches in the Olympics. I met Specialist Hillary Bohr, a steeplechaser who first came to America to study at Iowa State. He said that his experience taught him enough, quote, to understand what the United States is all about. I knew then, he said, that I wanted to be a citizen. The only way I was going to do that was to sign up for 4 years to give back what this country has given me. Hillary's 2 brothers, by the way, Emmanuel and Julius, followed his example, joining the United States Army. Julius deployed to Afghanistan earlier this year. The Bohr family has been a part of our American family for less than a decade, and yet service has already become a family tradition. I met Specialist Paul Chelimo, who, like Hillary Bohr, earned his citizenship through service. After studying at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro, he joined the Army as a water treatment specialist, knowing the importance of clean water to communities in his native Kenya. In Rio, I saw Paul give his absolute all on the track, staying stride for stride with the reigning Olympic champion until the very last stretch. After he won the silver medal, exhausted, he took one final lap, carrying our nation's colors around the track with a soldier's pride. After the race, he spoke about the edge he had over his competitors. The Army has taught me to be physically and mentally tough, he said. This is for my soldiers. I represent them. They represent me. Paul, Hillary, John, and all of our soldier and military Olympians, they put their duty to country above everything else. They have proudly worn uniform that says USA for far more than 16 days in Rio this summer. They have committed to wearing that uniform when it matters even more than representing our nation on the world's greatest stage, but when it comes to defending our nation against the world's greatest threats. Centuries ago, the ancient Greeks celebrated the Olympics as a time of peace and goodwill. But it is because of the service and commitment of the Olympians who join us today, and because of their teammates across the military, that peace and security are possible, for defending our nation, for representing our nation at its very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Fanning. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Stacey Harris, Air Force Assistant Vice Chief of Staff and Director of the Air Staff.
Secretary Carter, Secretary Fanning, Mr. Register, it's an absolute honor to be here with you all and all our distinguished guests as we celebrate the men and women who represented our services and our country in the 31st Olympiad this summer. To Team USA, our Olympians and Paralympians in attendance, as a service member and, more importantly, a proud American, it's a privilege to watch all of you represent our great nation every 4 years. Watching you compete, it's crystal clear to us that you embody a poise and greatness that all of our citizens should aspire. We can only hope to ever display a fraction of the intensity and mettle you brought to the world stage this summer. In the United States Air Force, we often speak of our core values, and in those discussions, we speak a lot about the core value of excellence. Like Vince Lombardi, we chase perfection relentlessly, knowing all the while we can never attain it. However, along the way, we're confident we will catch excellence during this lifelong pursuit. We strive to develop a sustained passion for continuous improvement and innovation that will propel us towards accomplishment and unmatched performance. We endeavor to mold men and women of unmatched competence, character, and grit because our nation requires it and we cannot fail. We hold our airmen and fellow service members accountable for doing their part in our quest for excellence, since our lives and those of our fellow citizens depend on it. So why talk about the Air Force and our idea of excellence as a core value? Because everything I just described is personified in you. Our airmen, our fellow service members, and our citizens only need to watch our Olympians and Paralympians to witness this idea of excellence come to life. Most of us never see you train. We don't see your lonely hours in the pool, on the field, or in the weight room. We don't see you fall or see your teammates and coaches pick you up. But we saw you in Rio, each of you personifying this idea of excellence on our behalf, representing the very best in all of us. Citius, Altius, Fortius, faster, higher, stronger is the Olympic motto. The concept of excellence that is seared into your minds and hearts and something the rest of us must strive for every single day. So on behalf of all U.S. military members, thank you. Thank you for being excellent and demanding the same from your teammates. Thank you for setting the example for all of us to follow. We salute you and wish you all the best in all your futures hold.
Thank you, Lieutenant General Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Register, Associate Director, United States Olympic Committee, and former U.S. Paralympian.
Secretary Carter and Secretary Fanning, General Harris, honored to be here today to represent the United States Olympic Committee. Part of the Olympic Committee, one of the divisions is the United States Paralympics. It doesn't often get as much play as the Olympic side of the house, and I want to share just a few words. Many people believe that I overcame my amputation when I was in the United States Army, that I overcame the amputation. But if I overcame my amputation, I have my leg back. What overcame was negative stigma. The negative things that I thought about myself, the negative things that people thought about me, and what's more important, why those stigmas were there in the first place. It was my wife, Alice, after I was challenging myself and questioning who I was as my identity. Am I still a father? Am I still a husband? Do I still have a job in the United States Army? Am I still employable? My Olympic dreams are over. It was my wife, Alice, who came to me. And she said, you know what, John, we're going to get through this together. It's just our new normal. When she spoke those words, I began to launch forward from a baseline, to move forward, to see what I could actually accomplish. The physical therapist told me to swim for my physical therapy. I interned my service in the United States Army. And 27 months later, I found myself, instead of going to the Olympic Games as part of the Army's world-class athlete program as a 400-meter hurdler, I went as an African-American swimmer. In my book, we just didn't do that sport too much. But I swam for my physical therapy, I made the team, and then I saw something that was amazing. As a long jumper at Arkansas, I wanted to get back and start long jumping. So there was a gentleman on the long jump runway who was a above-the-knee amputee. And as he was running down the long jump runway at the games in 1996, he ran so fast and so powerful with the whole crowd cheering and clapping for him that he hit the takeoff board, leapt into the air, and at the apex, the height of his flight, his artificial leg flew off. I had never seen this before. And he landed here, and his artificial leg landed about 3 feet up in front of him. And he turned back quick as a whip and said, "Now, where are you going to measure my jump from? From right here, where artificial leg landed up there." And I said, "Brilliant attitude to have." So I had a leg made for running. And as I was paralleling my pathway with a job in the United States Army, working for the Army's world-class athlete program, and then as associate director for the Better Opportunity for Single Soldiers program, I wound up making the Paralympic team, went to Sydney, Australia, and won the silver medal in those games in Sydney. And I say that because a few years later, when I was hired by Charlie Hubner at the United States Olympic Committee, he gave me the opportunity with a question to begin a program for injured military veterans. What can we do for our vets? With the BOSS program, I had been around 50 different installations, met with many commanders, and it was one that was at Walter Reed Army Medical Center that began the process of starting the first United States Olympic Committee military sport program. The impact has been way too numerous to count. But what is absolutely clear is the unwavering support of the Secretary of Defense, the unwavering support of the Department of Defense, and both the Olympic and Paralympic athletes to create a journey for them that allows them to reach their highest heights, to the Citius and the Altius and the Fortius, of the heights that we all want to reach in our lives. The Paralympic military athletes' use of sport was not just to get back to a healthy and active lifestyle, but was also meant to create a new normal, and as I frame it, post-traumatic growth. So individuals, instead of saying where they are, they say where they have gone to. I've done more now with one leg than I ever could have imagined with two. The post-traumatic growth is metaphorical for all of our lives. We understand the vital importance and the impact of physical activity as an aspect of the rehabilitation process. And through our joint efforts, thousands of injured service members enjoy physical activity with their friends and their families in their communities all across our great nation. You are inspirers, each and every one of you that does your job, do your jobs here, because inspiration is a catalyst to motivation. Motivation in turn causes actions. Those actions lead us to results. And those results re-inspire us or allow other people that are watching the process to catch the vision. So thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your continued support to ensure Americans are atop the medal podium each games, and then to inspire Americans abroad and in CONUS. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Register. We are honored to have our military senior leadership from each service join us for this special occasion. As your name is called, please join your service athletes on stage for a photo. U.S. Army athletes and coaches, please join Secretary Carter, Secretary Fanning, Lieutenant General Cheek, and Command Sergeant Major Tinker in front of the flags. Sergeant Schrimser, Sergeant First Class Sanderson, Sergeant First Class Eller, Sergeant First Class Richmond, Specialist Lowe, Second Lieutenant Kendricks, Staff Sergeant Nunn, Specialist Career, Specialist Kipchircher, Specialist Chalimo, Specialist Bohr, Staff Sergeant Lucot, Sergeant First Class Guzman, Captain Locke, Staff Sergeant Bowser. U.S. Marine Corps athletes and coaches, please join Secretary Carter, Miss Davidson, Lieutenant General Laster, and Sergeant Major Green in front of the flags. Second Lieutenant Higgins. U.S. Navy athletes and coaches, please join Secretary Carter, Miss Davidson, and Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, Giordano, in front of the flags. Lieutenant King, Midshipman 4th Class Tugadi. U.S. Air Force athletes and coaches, please join Secretary Carter, Lieutenant General Harris, the Honorable Camarillo, and Lieutenant General Rock in front of the flags. First Lieutenant Simmons. Thank you. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving another round of applause to these amazing athletes and coaches. Please remain standing and join us in singing of the Armed Forces Service Medley, played by the U.S. Army Band Brass Quintet.
For the call we place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory too. To fight, to save, or fight and die, I Coast Guard we are for you. Off we go into the wide blue yonder, climbing high to the sun. Here they come, zooming to meet our thunder. Adam boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, go down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to foreign shores, we sail at break of day through our last night on shore. Drink to the foam until we meet once more. Here's wishing you a happy voyage home. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the loud and strong, for wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Thank you for joining us. This concludes today's ceremony. Please feel free to come up to greet the athletes.